I was appalled. I truly, like, my jaw hit the floor when Dorit is telling Kyle about how PK treats her behind closed doors. She's getting vulnerable about how he yells at her. Like, she's trying to express to Kyle, you don't know what it's like in my marriage, what it's been like in my marriage, the things that I have hidden from you. Like, we don't know what's going on in each other's marriages. And it's been really, really harsh. And this is now continuing through this divorce that I am now going through. And the fact that Kyle questioned that and was then that woman who says, well, I've never seen that. He's never treated me that way. So I don't necessarily believe it. And I was like, you are not a girl's girl. You do not believe women. You need to shut your face then. I was like, shut up. Then you are never her friend again. Like I said last week, you are a woman who picks men. You are a pick me over and over and over again.
We gonna stir it up and do things our way. So if you wanna move, get out of our way.
Hey.
Well, what is today? Thursday. I mean, it's Wednesday, but it's Thursday.
Yeah. It all flows. It's a fog. Still coming up.
What is time?
Yeah.
What is time? Honestly, I saw a commercial for Nespresso and I was like, who is that man in that commercial? And I couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, oh, it's George Clooney, but he looks so old. Shit. And I had a moment of existential dread.
Yeah, I saw a picture of him like a couple months ago. I don't know when, but he was like with his wife and he looks more grandfatherly now.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. I mean, he still looks good.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say he doesn't look good, but yeah. Amal and I are the same age, but I was like, oh, hi, Pappy.
Yeah. He's heading into his later Frank Sinatra stage. I mean, I saw his dress. Yeah. It's okay. I wouldn't want to be him. I would not want to trade my amazing life for his fortune, his full head of hair, his fame.
No, not at all. None of that.
Speaking of fortune, fame, and hair, we are here for the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, episode 8, Boz's Serenity Sisterhood Soiree from Hell.
I mean, I feel I would have loved to have been the Jennifer Tilly at that party. I mean, she had it right, and she told the manly hands what was up. She was like, "This is the calm before the storm," and I loved it later on when one of the men was like, "That lady said it right. She warned us." And then they flashed back to Jennifer Tilly saying that, and I was like,
"Yeah,
yep." Jennifer's just got it nice this season, at least so far. Nothing bad has happened to her.
Well, that's how it goes, which is something I don't know if she'll be back another season, if they're working her in like Kathy is, where she's a friend of, like a consistent friend of here and there. But we saw what they did with Kathy when she had an amazing, lovable first season. They Beverly Hills in particular, they build you up and tear you down. So if I were Jennifer Tilly, I'd take that Simpsons money and run. I would not come back for the second one.
I think that just like Kathy Hilton, this is just play fun for her. So if she was like, oh, I'll just be a friend of for 5 seasons, she'd be like, oh, that's fine with me. Like, I don't have to commit to much. This is just pedicure money that I'm earning here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a hobby. That was, by the way, we got a glimpse of Kathy again, because she's been like, she's a friend of this season, truly. Yeah. Like some seasons she seems to be like full-time, but you see she's been out a few episodes.
We got a glimpse of Kathy.
Yeah, you got a glimpse by FaceTime. And honestly, that was not put on. I have to tell you, when Kyle's about to dial her and she's like, oh, of course Kathy is missing her phone. Siri, call Rick. I mean, that's what she can never seem to keep her phone at her side. So that's why the famous iPads you guys see on the show, or you call her husband, or email someone to email her who might know someone in the house at the moment to grab her. That was that was Kyle's life right there.
Well, I think we should dive into this Serenity Sisterhood because that's
Yeah.
basically the episode.
Yeah.
That's it. It's like, you know, Nico is his name, right?
Yeah, her
Bose's
assistant.
assistant. He's great. I like him a lot. Like, because he seems to be efficient. He has personality, but he also is like efficient. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
He is not an Avi where
Yeah.
like
He doesn't
he's got
seem to,
almost too much personality.
yeah, and he doesn't seem to be there for comic relief the way they've made Avi kind of Sutton's
Mhm.
little plaything, her gesture.
Yeah.
Yeah. That what was oh my god, I was thinking about this of another thing with the name Soiree because it was like Housewives fans know. It was like, what does this remind me of? What is the name? And I was like, oh my god, remember Nene Leakes, all
Mhm.
white? What was it? I can't. There were like 12 names in it. It was like Nene Leakes, gays and girls, seafood and
Oh.
mimosa, white party
Was this
soiree or something.
Was this the party that, like, Kim technically wasn't invited to, yet showed up, and then her daughter, like, took pictures in the bathroom? Okay, yes,
Yeah,
that
there was
party. Oh
this.
my
I was like
gosh.
soiree, soiree, and that I flashed back to Nini's. It was like 10
Mhm.
words. Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh,
I like
Nene
her house
Leakes.
though. I have to say, those
I
the
love
patio
that season.
furniture. Let me tell you guys. No, I think you guys already could spot it. The fabric on the, what do you call it, on the outdoor furniture? It's the Beverly Hills Hotel palm fronds. So it's
Mhm.
like nice. She has my already luring me in bows. Watch out.
I really I like her style because she's not afraid of color and she's
Mhm.
not afraid of patterns. Like she's the anti-Kardashians and their beige whiteness, like
Yeah.
this whole like bleh
Yeah, she's kind of like a
aesthetic. Like
maximalist. She loves a
she
good
is.
wallpaper.
Yes.
Every
And I
room is
love it.
done up. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that maximalist. Like, she is a maximalist, and she just is like yeah, she's not afraid to, like, go for it. I believe if she likes it, because there are some
Mhm.
people who are maximalists and it's just they're hoarders, basically.
Yeah.
She's not a hoarder.
Yeah, no. Hers is like done very thoughtfully, curated.
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, but back
Yeah.
to the party, I guess, or the smackdown, whatever you want to call it.
You know what? I wanna call it an intervention.
Hmm.
It was a Kyle intervention is what they were having because the way that Kyle reacted to everything was as if they were sitting her down and telling her she needed to go to rehab.
Yeah. It was, they were telling her she needs, the first step is to own it, Kyle. Own it.
Yep. That ain't gonna happen. Not right now.
The way she reacted. I mean, even her friends on the show were clocking it.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah. I mean, she was reacting like the youngest child having a temper tantrum, to be
yeah.
honest with you. That was my eldest child reaction to it. I was like, "Calm down, baby girl. Calm
Yeah.
down."
I mean, something we have to talk about and how the cell kicked off. For me, it was pretty masterful of Garcelle because, like I said, an episode or two ago, Garcelle needs to kind of film separately from Sutton and like break.
Mhm.
They don't have to fight. I'm not saying an end all, but they need to have their own separate lives on the show. The way Garcelle purposely went to Bose to let her
Mhm.
know about that text, knowing Bose would then kick it over to Dorit and this scene would pop off. Garcelle, that's what a housewife does. That Garcelle was playing some really good games. She knew
Mhm.
what she was
Yeah,
doing with that.
yeah, somebody got into our comments on YouTube and was like, "Oh, you just want her to be," or on somewhere and was like, "You just want her to be the angry woman." And I was like, "No, like, but this is what we were talking about.
Mhm.
Exactly. Like, play the housewives game.
Yeah.
Do that some more. Like, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
Like, exactly. Like, yes, we would like to see a little division between her and Sutton, but they don't have to like be yelling at each other or anything like that. Like they will have a fallout eventually.
It's
Hopefully it's not to
inevitable.
this degree. We just want a fun fallout between the
Yeah,
two of
look,
them.
the way I looked at them when I brought it up was like Emily and Gina on Orange County. Like they did, it was
Yes.
more interesting, and it's better for them because their jobs are more stable. Look, finally, Garcelle, in doing that sneaky thing, delivering it to Bose, knowing it's going to go right back to Dorit and shoot over to Kyle, she's moving the show forward, which is what I've complained about. It's not, this wasn't an aside with her sons or an aside at the beach house. This was her getting her hands dirty.
Also, and I don't know if the two are necessarily related, but she then got an apology out of Dorit for Dorit, you know, going at her at the Viper Room. Dorit realizing that that really wasn't Garcelle's intention, and also kind of an apology for like, I know we haven't had the greatest like relationship in the past. They had like this nice like mea culpa type of moment between the two of them, which I thought was really good, like personally for the two of them. But I also felt it was like, and I don't mean this like necessarily in a bad way, but I felt it was a little strategic for Dorit, whether she realized it or not. But again, because Kyle is like, Garcelle and Sutton are my friends. Well, it's another way to kind of peel these friends off from Kyle, or these actually what I'm going to say is loyalists off from Kyle, of like finding out who is blindly loyal to Kyle and who is more of a realist when it comes to Kyle. And I think she's kind of figuring out it was a good strategic move to figure out that Garcelle's a realist when it comes to Kyle.
Yeah, like Dorit, knowing she's going in there for Kyle, which is the big dog, she needed to neutralize any other fights, because otherwise it turns into that where every woman is bringing up her own issues. They're all screaming over each other. She knew she needed to like solidify her, like neutralize everyone, and it's just going for Kyle. And it was, I mean, Garcelle took it well. That was like the first she had ever heard. Or the first she had ever believed. The first time she'd ever believed Dorit's words.
That is true. Granted, she was in a very vulnerable position. She was relaxed. She had a man massaging her feet, a manly man hands like massaging her feet. It very much was strategic on Dorit, and that was smart of Dorit. That was very smart. Get a woman while she is very relaxed and apologize to her for everything you've ever done and get her on your side. Good going, Dorit. Good going.
Yeah. On the flip side of that relaxed moment, so then you had Dorit and Garcelle who are working out, and then flash across the room, and it's Bose and Kyle talking. And Bose had a strategic conversation in mind, but it wasn't an apology, which is, I mean, she called it. She knew exactly why Kyle would show the text message with PK to everyone but her and Dorit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you're not gonna. It was. Sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought, but this is the thing. Kyle is like, guess what, Kyle? There's a new game in town when it comes to Housewives, when it comes to Beverly Hills Housewives, and it's time to up your game. And you're playing the old game. You're playing the old LVP game.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going to play anymore. It's not. And so now you have to be these theatrics, these ways of doing things, they're not working anymore because the fourth wall is being broken a lot. Especially like when she was talking about how with her reading the text out loud and being like, I wouldn't say anything. And then her excuse was that I wouldn't want to bring up production. Like I meant production. This is a personal text, Kyle. It's a personal text that you weren't expecting to have to read on camera. So you would write production. Like, I don't revolution. I want Bravo and I want production. You would have said that in fucking text message. That's why Dorit is very clear in her confessionals and in the after show of no, she has talked shit about me to PK. And when Kyle says why would I talk badly about, Dorit to PK? Because that's what we do a lot of times. We
Mhm.
talk the most shit to the people that are closest to us because we feel that they know the most. Because either A, they're going to commiserate with us the most about that person, they're not going to like push back, or they're going to have better insight about it.
Mhm.
So that's why we talk the most crap and say the worst things to the people that know those people the best.
Yeah. And that way too, since like both their marriages were slightly on the rocks. I mean, they can't trust a lot. They were almost a unit. PK, Mo, Kyle, Dorit. Like
Mhm.
a few years ago, she couldn't go to Lisa Rinna and open up. She would have gone to someone like their couple friends. They talk about their marriages.
Yeah. And I can't do that anymore. I was like,
Yeah.
ugh. It also was just it was so annoying because it becomes again, it's gonna be my phrase of the season, the Kyle Richards exceptionalism. It was, I'm so upset that you guys are doing this to me. I'm the victim. You're coming after me. Everything is so hard for me. My husband has moved out. My children, look, everything she says is very valid, except for the fact it's only valid for her.
Mhm.
None of it is valid for Dorit. None of it is valid for Sutton. None of it is valid for Garcelle. None of it is valid for anybody else but herself.
Mhm.
And also, it's also very convenient because back at her diamonds and denim party, when Camille was trying to kind of commiserate with her, been like, even in the Camille way of doing things, which we know that's not the greatest, but Camille was like, I kind of know what you're going through. And Kyle dismissed her and was like, no, mine's different. Like, my divorce is different than your divorce. It was like, oh, I get it. You're not alone until you want to cry that you're alone.
Yeah.
And that's what I don't have patience for. Like, at least like Erika's alone. And she owns that she's alone. And when she's upset about things, it's because she's alone. And she's admitted that she's alone. She's not saying I'm the exception to the rule here.
Yeah,
Like,
Kyle
cousins.
gives you both, like later on in the episode, which we'll get to. We're all one big happy family. But then 20 minutes before, how
Yeah.
could you do this to me? I'm vulnerable and lonely.
Yeah.
Erika is funny because it is a weird position where Erica's trying to play both sides of this. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's trying to have a peaceful season. She's been put through a lot. This is the first, so she is just like, you guys are not disturbing my peace. So she's trying to play middleman with both
Mm-hmm.
Dorit and Kyle. And regarding showing your phone and the text and opening it up, Erika goes, as the one here who's been investigated the most.
That made me laugh. That made me
Yeah.
laugh. But I also was like, I think you're gonna get burned, Erika, for sitting in the
Mhm.
middle of this. Like, and and I don't know which way. Like, I wouldn't kind of want to be Erika, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's
Like,
going to be an awkward reunion. I wonder which couch she'll be on.
yeah. I think she'll be on Kyle's couch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, to save.
Unless something crazy happens.
They're taking two. Erika and Dorit are taking two very different approaches because they're two who need the money. This show, I mean, this show is their livelihood, especially with Dorit divorcing. It's not going to, not that PK offers tons of real money, but I mean,
Mhm.
she's going to be on her own. And while Erika is trying to like step back and just kind of cruise, finally, on the flip side of that, Dorit is earning her paycheck. She's fighting for her life on this show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amen. Well, let's talk more about that. I think you have better notes than I do.
Oh,
Because my work schedule this week is not very conducive to watching and podcasting. So everybody has to excuse me.
I did. I mean, this was great. This was different because usually a lot of people complain or fans. Beverly Hills is always 45 minutes of mindless buildup, followed by the beginning of a party, then to be continued. And
Yep.
this time, the bulk of the conflict, it was one event, Maine, that took up the majority of the episode. And
Thank God.
yeah, we didn't have to like wait and then get a normally it would have been Kyle steps out of Bose's house and then it would be to be continued. No, they wrapped it up nicely.
That's what I was expecting. Like, to be honest, I was really
Mhm.
surprised when we were only like 18 minutes into the episode and we were already
Yeah.
getting into shit. And I was like, oh, okay. All right. I can't zone out for 30 minutes. All right.
Yeah.
I'm paying
I
attention.
I did catch something Kyle said because a big thing here is all, like we said, all the women are pretty much clocking it. I think Garcelle said Kyle doth protest too much.
Mhm.
Bose said she's watching the way Kyle is yelling and crying, and it only tells her she's wrong. She knows she's wrong. And Kyle
Mhm.
said something. This is my favorite thing any housewife says, pretty much happens almost every week or on almost every show. I've talked about it with Shannon Bedore, and anybody who knows me knows. Kyle said, anybody who knows my character, guilty as
God.
charged.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, because, oh my gosh, because Dorit, I mean, I've been saying it all season long that, you know, 'cause she always says that she's a girl's girl. And I'm like, she is not a girl's girl. And Dorit specifically said she's not a girl's girl, especially, and I know I'm like jumping around, but whatever. Who cares? It's our podcast. We can do whatever we want. But after like she runs out and Dorit is the one that goes out to like talk to her, which I thought again was smart. It was strategic, it was good camera time, but it also was smart because in a way it is the person who should talk to her.
Mhm.
They should have that conversation. The fact I was appalled, I truly like my jaw hit the floor when Dorit is telling Kyle about how PK treats her behind closed doors. She's
Mhm.
getting vulnerable about how he yells at her. Like, yeah, they yell at each other, but the things that he says that, you know, that Kyle doesn't know this stuff. She's trying to express to Kyle, you don't know what it's like in my marriage, what it's been like in my marriage, the things that I have hidden from you. Like, we don't know what's going on in each other's marriages. And it's been really, really harsh. And this is now continuing through this divorce that I am now going through. And the fact that Kyle questioned that and was then that woman who says, well, I've never seen that.
Mhm.
He's never treated me that way. So I don't necessarily believe it. And I was like, you are not a girl's girl.
Mhm.
You do not believe women. You need to shut your fucking face then. I was like,
Mhm.
shut up. Then you are never her friend. Again, like I said last week, you are a woman who picks men. You are a pick me over and over and over again.
Mhm.
You are a pick me. Shut up. Like I was like, for me, that was the death knell for me with when it comes to Kyle. I was like, I don't give a shit.
Mhm.
I hope Mo cheated on you for all 20 fucking years of your fucking marriage.
Mhm.
Like, I'm
What if,
done.
like,
I'm done.
that makes me think about how what would Kyle how Kyle would react if someone doubted her.
Right.
All these
Mhm.
seasons, even last season, crying in her kitchen with Kim, saying, "You don't know what goes on with my family. You guys don't know the real Kathy. You don't know this." What if everyone was like, "Well, I don't know. She's been perfectly lovely to me. Maybe you're the bad sister, Kyle."
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe
I
you're
mean,
the.
because she didn't like it when Dorit stood up for Kathy or like just play devil's advocate between the two of them.
Mhm.
She didn't like that at all. When Dorit literally tried to be the Erika between Kathy and Kyle,
Mhm.
she cut Dorit out. So
Yeah.
again, Kyle Richards exceptionalism.
Mhm.
Not a girl's girl. Let's just call her Kyle Pick Me.
Yeah. She's a Kyle's
Poster girl.
Kyle.
She's a Kyle's Kyle. You know, she's the poster girl for middle-aged pick-me's. Here we go.
Yeah. It was also,
Because that was that moment. Sorry.
and while she's questioning, first it starts off with, well, I've never seen PK be that way. And I always thought she wore the pants. But then, so it starts with, well, I didn't know. But then it turns into doubt and saying,
Yeah.
and like, well, I'm not sure if I believe it. Then it turns into back to Kyle. She essentially thinks Dorit made this up, made a big scene of the text to distract from all she's done to Kyle. It's still
Mhm.
all about her.
Mhm. How
And what
dare they do this to me?
and I've
Ugh.
actually put in my notes, we still don't know what Dorit has done to Kyle. Except speak
All
out
she
of turn.
speak out of turn,
Went off
be
script.
honest,
Yeah.
pull the veil back. That's it.
Hmm.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Even I have the note, but I don't know what it's in reference to. I wrote that Sutton even pointed out some more Kyle Richards exceptionalism. And I have to think that maybe it was when Bose was saying to Sutton, go out there, like go speak to your friend. And Sutton kept rolling her eyes, and then she goes, she's so dramatic. And I was like, well, that's ironic coming from you, Sutton. But at the same time, that was Sutton being like, oh, like I'm so tired of this too. Like, why can't you just accept this at least?
Well, was as Sutton gets into it later, like as the episode goes on, when they have the sit down after. Who was it? It was Sutton, Garcelle, and Jennifer Tilly. Were those the
Mm-hmm.
three? Were those
I
the
think
three? They're having a
so.
little sit down. It's where Kyle says, I'm sorry, it's where Sutton says the line that has been teased throughout the trailers for this season: I will not bow to the altar of Kyle Richards. And
Uh-huh.
she's
Yeah.
talking about how rude it was for Kyle, who lectures Sutton and gaslights her when she's having a meltdown, and how that approach, get yourself together, don't do this. She said when Kyle gets upset and storms out of a party crying.
That's what I wrote that note about. That's
Yeah.
what I wrote that. It was like you can't just get up and leave, Sutton. You can't just get up and like do da 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 da. But then Kyle does the same thing. That's what I wrote that note about. Thank you. There we go.
Yeah.
I knew you had it.
Yeah, I caught that hypocrisy real quick.
Look, we're all hypocrites. We're all hypocrites, and we're all hypocrites at different times.
Yep.
These are women who unfortunately have decided to put their hypocrisy on television, national and international television. But it's always the level of hypocrisy.
Mhm.
And I think the level of hypocrisy that we are seeing from Kyle this season is just massive in comparison to everybody else's.
Yeah.
And especially the way and her projection onto other people. Like, yeah, we're seeing Dorit project her anger about her divorce onto other people, but she's very quick to realize that and to like rein it in and to apologize to people, or just be like, at least admit, I'm going through this divorce. I'm not handling it well. Whereas like Kyle is like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine until everybody's against me. How dare you do this to me? I'm not
Yeah.
that great. And that's the difference.
I would be frustrated if I was Kyle's cast member too, because she's playing two different. She's giving us two different shows on and off camera. On camera, you cannot you can't even imply they're divorcing. We've never discussed the
Right.
D word. We're just blissfully separated, living as one in different like. How dare you bring up Morgan? What do you mean lesbian? All this stuff. And then that's on camera. But then out in the press, probably calling TMZ or Daily Mail or whoever seems to capture her with her possibly girlfriend or all that stuff. It's all out there and fine for the press to capture. But if you bring it up on camera, how dare you?
Yeah. Look, if you've got skeletons in your closet, if you don't want people talking about you, do not go on reality television.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. Like, she should have stayed trying to be a scripted actor. Like, honestly, because you can control the narrative a little bit easier if you're just an actor.
Yeah.
If you're a reality television star, you absolutely cannot do that, especially not on a series like this where you are a main character.
And if she wanted to stay on the reality side of it, then don't go to hot spots with your rumored girlfriend. She only goes to places where everywhere they are photographed when you see her and Morgan and stuff. These aren't out of the way places for private moments. They go where the photographers are planted, and then they play dumb and won't answer any questions. So
I mean, I think that the public is more hip to pap walks now, and they're like understanding more that there are places in LA, in New York, where the paparazzi hang out. And now that you also call TMZ, you call Splash, you call Backgrid, you call these people when you want to say something without saying it.
Yeah. Well, let as in say, let's talk about the husband. No, but as like, let's talk about how a few weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I wake up and Kyle is having breakfast captured by I think X17 or whatever that big one is, or Baccarat,
Mhm.
at the Glen Center in Bel Air, the shopping center up on Mulholland, with Lisa Rinna and Morgan, and they're just happen to
Mhm.
be strolling through the parking lot together. Let
Mhm.
me tell you, that center is where people arrange to meet the photographers for arranged photo shoots.
Mhm.
You've seen a lot
Yeah.
of housewives and a lot of reality stars up there. Oh, they were checking their PO box, or oh, they were getting a manicure. You call, like, Daily Mail is big with the Glen Center. And
Mhm.
you call them, you let them know you'll be there and what time, and you
Mhm.
end up in the press. So
Mhm. Yeah. I was about to say, is like Lisa Rinna's one that uses
mhm.
that to like stay in the public eye now that she's not on television.
Yeah,
You
you
know, it's
see it.
like there's certain ones that do it.
Yeah,
Bradley Cooper uses that in New York City all the time. Like,
I've seen pictures of Brandy Glanville up there.
Mhm.
Or she lives out in like Calabasas. It's not close. I'm like, oh,
Nope.
like, yeah, interesting.
Yeah. Yeah.
We should
Yeah.
hang out there more. We should.
We really should. Well, look, anytime I go to eat dinner at Craig's, there are paparazzis. Like, this is the thing too. Like, anytime you see like Heather Dubrow coming out of Craig's, like she and Terry went to Craig's for a reason because
Mm,
the paparazzi always hangs out there.
yeah.
They're not going to take a picture of me. They don't give a shit. They don't know who the fuck I am, and that is fine. I
Yeah.
am cool with that. But like, they always hang out. There's certain places you see them hanging out, and they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What else was there? This
Oh well, then
mm,
I mean, at the end, Dorit and Erika had that facial together,
yeah.
and I don't mean that in a sexual way. Um, Watch you get red. Um, which I thought was interesting that like, you know, Dorit was calling her out for like being, you know, trying to
Mm.
play both sides. And Erika was like almost like I give up, like uncle, screw you both. Like, I was like, she's gonna break. I feel like Erika might break this season. Like, I don't know how. Of like, her zen might break is really what might happen.
Yeah, because I mean, she really is in a tough spot here. I mean, I feel
Mhm.
like she knows. Remember, this is Dorit's first time being a real stand up, go getter, aggressive housewife. And so I
Mhm.
think she's torn between Dorit, who she probably knows is right and admires, but she's a wild card. We're talking about income, or staying with the establishment on Kyle's side, who, if she likes you, you can get another season and keep that rental redecorated.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it is, you're not just caught in the middle of friends on a show like this. You're caught in the middle of your income.
Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. 100%.
Uh, what else? Oh, there was that one wholesome scene at the end. Once again, show us the two sides of Kyle. She's screaming her life is in shambles. She has to go. And then it's the big family brunch for Portia's 16th Porsche. You got that. Not too shabby. It's by the way, so you guys know, because I this is if you want a window inside my head, when that video went up on like Alexa, one of the Alexia or Sophia, I get them confused. I know Farrah on one side, Portia on the other, the middle two, but they posted it and then they show it on the show, the same footage and stuff. I was like, which Porsche SUV is that? I need to know. It is a Macan, which is the I shouldn't say entry level. They start at $60,000, 64,000, and that's no options. It only figure this is a car that goes from 60 to 90 or so, 60 to 100. Say an average 175. Let's just say it was 75 grand. And if you it looks familiar to you guys, it's like a compact Porsche SUV. The other Housewives kids who you've seen, that's the same one. Candy Burris bought Riley. And it's also
Mhm.
the one that Melissa Gore got probably leased and had to trade back in for Antonia. But so
Mhm.
it's totally that like rich teen girl car, you know what I mean?
Although I wouldn't be surprised if that was a lease though too for Porsche, because I wouldn't be
Mhm.
surprised if they somehow put it under the agency and it was like,
Yeah.
somehow made it a write-off for the company in
Yeah.
some way.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm sure it was. But my thinking though was like with the Gore guys. I heard they
Yes.
announced they took her car back because she wasn't like helping out around the house. And this was shortly after the show was put on pause. And the Gorgas finances are not like the Richard Umansky's finances. They were like,
Yeah.
sorry, Antonia.
You
You're gonna
didn't make your bed one day. Bye-bye, Porsche.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, it's a nice car though, but I had to get to the bottom of that because there are other Porsche SUVs, a Cayenne, which
Mhm.
is bigger. I was just like, Jesus, she's 16. Like, yeah,
Oh, gotta have something to look up to, I guess, work up
yeah.
to, but not if you're not if you're Richard Szymanski. But
One other thing about that scene that caught, I was just like, geez, because they're going, Mauricio's taking her to Europe for her 16th birthday. And
mhm.
did you catch where it's the trip's a week away? And he's like, we might go to Spain, might go to Portugal. It was something like Madrid or maybe
Mallorca.
Mallorca. I'm like, you guys haven't, you guys are just like gonna fly and see where it takes you. I was like, that's nice.
I mean, whereas like I planned a trip to London like 7 months in advance.
Yeah.
Like
I like to have any meal I eat on a trip, there have been hours of YouTube videos and reviews,
yes,
cyber
yes, even
stalking. It's
completely.
just like,
No, they just are like, "Nah, we'll just like book a flight last minute, first class, business, I guess if we have
yeah,
to." Yes, and I guess we'll just like, "Oh, I don't know. Should we go to Barcelona or Mallorca? I don't know."
yeah. I know. He's just gonna. I think he said they're going to London first, so he's just gonna charter a
To pick up
sail.
her friend.
Yeah. Which, by the way, I caught when they didn't say the friend's name, and that would be because this is more of a production side for you guys. Portia's a minor, her friend would be a minor. She goes to a nice private school. And some people don't want their kids, even just a first name. They don't want it out. Like
Mhm.
a couple seasons when Kathy was calling her housekeeper the lady, it was because the lady didn't want her name. You know, she was uncomfortable with that. So to mention the kid, you may need to even have a
Mhm.
I don't
But
know
the
how that works.
ki
Do you need a
the kid
release to mention a minor's name, or
I
some
don't
people
know,
just
or
keep it out?
maybe the kid is a child of a Russian oligarch or
Yeah,
something like that,
exactly, exactly. I mean, that's what I was like, these aren't desperate people. She goes to a really fancy private school. Her
Right, right,
classmates are
right.
doing quite
And
well themselves.
and also I wanna make it obvious, I don't know who this kid is, so I'm
I
not
don't know.
saying that
Oh,
this kid is the
I don't
child of a
either.
Russian oligarch.
I
We're just
I
joking around.
I know this. I know the school, and it's like I won't even because she is a minor.
We
It's
won't even say the
weird.
name of the
Yeah,
school,
but
so
it's like plenty of rich. So I mean, like this
mhm,
show isn't make or break for these kids. Some would rather not have their name put out
yeah, yeah.
there.
And anywho, any other, like, last thoughts about Kyle or Dorit?
Not sure. Like we're okay, so we're going to see from the thing I saw. I don't know what's happening with Sutton because she's going scorched earth on both sides now. Now she's turning the way it ended with her, and I was wrong earlier. The sit down was with just Sutton and Garcelle at Garcelle's beach house.
Oh, that's right.
I said someone else was there. Did I say Bose?
Yeah,
It
you
was
said
just that
Jennifer. You said
Jennifer Tilly. Yeah, no. It is she is angry and she says, I'm going to talk to Kyle about it. And I'm like, wait,
Mhm,
so a little rocky with Dorit there, which is fine, then right, you pick a side. So if you don't get along with Dorit, then you're a ride or die for Kyle. Now she's going to be like, well, actually, I'm going to pick a bone with Kyle too. She's just throwing herself right into the fire. She's gonna have her own special chair set away from at the reunion.
Maybe she's pulling a Salt Lake City Britney, a "what about me" moment. I have an announcement. What about me?
Yeah. I wonder, because the women are saying that this like text situation is going on, and such a big deal is being made of it. And what you just said made me think, what if a Sutton is filming this and watching, because we don't see everything that goes on. Housewives have whole storylines, whole things that get cut out, events, days of filming that just don't work into an episode or a story arc or a season arc. What if, as she's watching this text come up over and over again, she's like, they are so cutting me in New York resewing vintage fashion with Av, one of those. She was basically like, there goes my storyline. So she had to pivot and throw herself in the middle.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
No.
Well, we hope everybody out there is safe from fires or from freezing cold on the other side, most of the country.
Yeah. A lot going on. I know there's no like easy. There's no like I can't think of a region that's having it like really.
I know. Yeah. At least hopefully at least like that hopefully PCP is keeping your heart warm and happy. I don't know whether you agree with us or not. Hopefully you're just finding us light fun as well as Real Housewives too, because that's what it is. It's all entertainment, y'all. It's nothing to take too seriously.
Indulgence, toxic luxury,
Exactly. Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
on that note, we have a baseline of toxicity, but we're really working on the luxury in our lives. So the one way you could help for free, all you have to do is subscribe. That's like our favesies. Anywhere you can find it, anywhere you find podcasts, whether it's Apple, Spotify, etc., YouTube as well. So you can watch us. And hopefully with time as we grow, watch our faces morph with the plastic surgery.
Oh no, come on,
Beverly
y'all. I gotta
Hills
start saving for a facelift, y'all. Those deep plane facelifts are not cheap.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to another country. I'm getting done in Beverly Hills. Believe me. I got Beverly Hills boobs. I'm going to get the Beverly Hills face. Just saying.
One last thing Erika said in the spot when she's filling out the forms and they ask, she's like, there's not enough space.
Laughed so hard. It was so perfect. Oh my gosh.
On that note, too, make sure to follow us social media. We're everywhere as well. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok is back. We're on TikTok, Blue Sky. We'll work on MySpace and LiveJournal.
Yeah. And make sure, especially with YouTube, we're trying to reach 1,000 subscribers by Valentine's. So be our Valentine. Please subscribe. I don't care if you're even on there, like you only are there for like, I don't know, barely anything just to watch Weather Channel stuff. Like just subscribe. Just subscribe. Do it. It's okay. Well, just help us out. Show us your love. Show us your love.
I keep saying on that note, but I guess on that note, cheers, darlings.